Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please confirm in the chat box. Thank you for joining the sessions. Thank you for your confirmations. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. So we have created, I hope most of you are in the WhatsApp group specific to this particular batch. If you are not part of the WhatsApp group, I already have given the WhatsApp group link in the chat box. So please join the WhatsApp group and please do not join duplicate groups. Okay. So if that particular group is full, I also will recommend you to second group. Okay. Okay. Please do not join the WhatsApp duplicate groups. Okay. So this is WhatsApp group 79. If all the updates related to this particular batch will be in the WhatsApp groups. So if you are not part of the WhatsApp group, please join the WhatsApp group using the link mentioned in the chat box. Got it? Perfect. Okay, so what's a plan for our today's session? So let's stop the chat. Perfect. Thank you very much for your responses. What's the plan for today's session? To perform hands-on, to practice AWS, you need to have an AWS account. In this session, I'll show you how to create a new AWS account. If you're not having, I am sure a few of you are already having AWS account. If you're not having AWS account, we'll just spend 10 minutes of time. We'll spend 10 minutes of time to understand how to create a new AWS account. Once we are done with creating a new AWS account, we are jumping into the first service of AWS that's called as an EC2. Now, what is EC2 service about? What is the advantage of EC2 machines? And then we'll experience how to create a Windows machine on AWS. We'll understand the terminology is called key pair, and we'll also learn how can we connect to the remote machine. So this is our plan for our today's session. So this is our plan for today's session. So our plan is to understand how to create a new AWS account. And not only that, we'll understand how to jump into AWS and how can we start using the service called as EC2, the specific reason and the advantage, and we'll be experiencing the EC2 service in this session. Okay. So that's our plan for our today's session. So as usual, before getting into the session, let's have quick interaction. I'm sure many participants are raising their hands. So we cannot obviously speak to all the participants. Let's have an interaction randomly. Okay. Starting with Rahul Srigada. Good morning, Rahul. How are you doing?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Rahul. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How about you?
You're doing well. Thank you. Yes, your question, please.
So,
Rahul, your question, please.
So, sir, I want to join in, sir. I join galena.
Okay.
So, first day of today meet.
Okay. Are you in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir. I joined.
So you will get the information in the WhatsApp group. Okay, Rahul? Thank you. Praveen Gamangati. Good morning, Praveen.
Hi, Sunil.
I can hear you. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very good morning. Yesterday, I have received a recording link for yesterday's session, but I'm unable to download that. So,
okay, Praveen. Actually, for the first few sessions, probably 3 to 4 sessions, you get it in the WhatsApp group, and then you have to pay a nominal amount of 999 rupees if you want to get the recordings. I hope you know that. Okay, so once the live training is free, but if you want the recordings, you need to pay 999. We will be sharing the recordings in the email.
After all the sessions, I need to pay that, or how it is?
No, if you can pay any point of time, the moment you pay it, you get the day-to-day recordings. Let's say session completes from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, right, Praveen?
Yes.
And then that particular recording will be available by probably 11 o'clock. Once the session is completed, within 1 hour, you'll get the recordings. Okay. Clear, Praveen?
Okay. Okay.
So beginning days, the channel for sending the recordings is WhatsApp, and then later it will be specific to your email. Okay, Praveen?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Next.
Yeah.
Something more,
Thank
Praveen? You know AWS, or is it completely new for it?
This is new for me. One of my college friend has recommended.
Okay.
So
May I know
yeah,
your experience?
I'm having 3+ years of experience as a business analyst.
Okay. Okay. Now you are planning to get into cloud as well?
Yes. It's good to have cloud knowledge because as it's booming technology in the market,
And as you know, most of the clients will be
the
on cloud.
and most
Okay.
of the client wants to switch their
Infrastructure to cloud.
infrastructure into cloud. Yeah.
Okay. So I hope you'll have a wonderful learning experience. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Praveen. So couple of more interactions. CS Shaiju.
Yeah,
Good morning,
hi,
Shaiju.
yeah, hi, Sunil. Very good morning.
Good morning.
So, yeah, myself, Shaiju here. So, basically, my question is, okay, I understand like there are many cloud platforms, and I mean, it's a new thing for me as well, cloud.
Okay. Okay.
So, I wanted to know, like in this era, is this AWS itself is enough to compete and market, or like we should have a knowledge in Azure or GCP? So, I mean,
So your
how,
question is just learning one cloud platform is enough, or do we need to learn multiple cloud platforms, at
yeah,
least 2 or 3
exactly,
cloud platforms? Okay. The
exactly.
first point, the future is every resource, no matter you are from a developer or from an operations team, you are a network administrator, system administrator,
Mhm.
okay, storage administrator, whatever your background is, having exposure to at least one cloud platform will be the future, Shaiju. Okay.
Okay.
So by this training, you will have exposed towards the one cloud platform, as you know, that is AWS. Okay.
Mhm.
There's no specific advantage if you learn second cloud platform, unless your client is having hybrid platforms. Hybrid platforms are nothing but Shaiju. There are few clients who are having some infrastructure in AWS and some part of the infrastructure in Azure. So such kind of clients who are having their infrastructure in multiple cloud platforms, if they are looking for resources, if your skill set is having multiple cloud platforms, then you will be the preferred resource. Otherwise, having one cloud platform is
No.
enough.
So
Okay.
basically, so these might be terminologies might be different, but the concept might be same on all these
Exactly, you are
cloud
right.
platforms.
Perfect. So if you learn one cloud platform, learning other cloud platform will be very, very easy. The user interface, the terminologies differs, the concepts remains the same.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, when you compare with the database point of view, Shaiju, I hope you know we have a Oracle in view SQL queries for writing Oracle when you're contacting, writing, creating the tables, isn't it? If
Correct.
you want to communicate to SQL server, also we use almost the same
Right.
SQL. Only thing the maybe the syntax a little bit
Syntax is
varies, but the concepts remains the same. We have constraints here and constraints there. Everything is same, isn't it?
yeah.
Clauses, everything. So something like that. If you learn one cloud platform, learning the second cloud platform will be very, very simple and easy. Concepts remains the same.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything
Thank you.
more, Shaiju? You're from which location?
I'm from Bangalore, and I have 15+ years of experience. From last 5 years, I'm currently into the VMware technology.
Okay.
And before that, I was a Windows administrator.
This is a very right platform, Shaiju, because VMware ESX runs well in on-premises, whereas in cloud, this is the
Yeah,
best one.
I
Okay.
understand.
Thank you. I hope you'll
Yep.
also enjoy the training. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shaiju. Let's have one more interaction and then jump into the today's concepts. Niranjan. Good morning, Niranjan CH. I can see your hand raised. Any specific question? By default, you will be on mute. You have to unmute and start talk. So let's proceed with one more participant, Akash Kotakar. Good morning, Akash.
Yeah, hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sir. Actually, my question is that I'm having almost a 5 years of experience, but it is into the Java support.
Okay.
But I don't like coding actually. In my
Okay.
future, I don't want to do coding. So DevOps or solely AWS is good for me.
Obviously,
switch it?
because in AWS and DevOps, there's no much coding involved because you will not be working as a programmer or a developer. You'll not be developing any applications as such. You'll be maintaining the infrastructure using this AWS and DevOps, and you'll be helping the clients to do automations. So there is less scope for coding here when compared to development role.
Okay.
Okay.
And sir, via this training, how much years of experience I can show in my resume? Like what services we are covered?
I recommend you, in case, are you planning to switch your current Java developer into a different latest technology? Isn't it? That's what you're
Correct.
planning to do. I strongly recommend you to learn DevOps also along with this. Okay. Right now you have started learning AWS. I strongly recommend to learn DevOps also. Once you complete that, and combination of AWS and DevOps is doing very good in the market, you can project to 2 to 2.5 years of experience. So let's say, Akash, you're having, let's say 5 years of experience.
Yes.
What you have to do, the latest 2 to 2.5 years of experience, you should put it in AWS and DevOps. And the remaining previous experience, you need to put it as is. So because you get the calls when you say that I worked on AWS and DevOps. If you just say that I learned on AWS, you'll get less number of calls. So project that experience and then start receiving the calls, and then if you're perfect with the subject and technology, you can switch your technology. Okay. And there are many success stories who are successfully shifted this. Okay.
So via this training, I can show 2.5 years of experience in
Both the
AWS.
trainings, not just AWS. I recommend you to go with DevOps also.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Akash.
Thank you.
Anything more, Akash?
No, not yet.
Okay, thank you. Niranjan, I can see you are unmuted.
Yeah. Hi, Sunil. First of all, I would like to appreciate this effort. Thank you very much for this sessions.
Thank you, Niranjan. How do you got to know about our details, our trainings?
I got to know by one of our friends. He forwarded that link, and I got
You
to
have
join.
joined. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So my question is like you have posted 2 WhatsApp group links, right? So both are full. So what is this WhatsApp group is for? Only to get the recordings of first few sessions, or do we get?
No, any information related to the training, Niranjan, for example, because for some reason I'm not available tomorrow. Okay. You should get the information. I'll be sending a WhatsApp message saying that there's no session tomorrow. Okay. Or generally I give some hints in the WhatsApp group. I mean, I'll be giving information about what will be the next batch, what topics will be covered in the next session. So any information, it's a point of communication between the participants and me, Niranjan. Okay. So to get the updates.
In that case, can you please give me any other link to join? Like both are full actually.
Okay. As of now, you're not part of the WhatsApp group.
Yes. Yes.
Give me a minute.
Sure.
You're from which city?
I'm from Hyderabad.
Okay. So I'm providing you one more WhatsApp group, Niranjan. It's not only specific to Niranjan. Others also who are not part of this AWS. This is batch number 79. Okay. So Niranjan, I have just sent you one more link.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So
I'm trying that.
I hope you will be in now.
Okay, and I just have one more question. I'm basically a UI developer who's trying to get to a full stack with Mun stack.
Okay.
So how does this AWS help me in future? Like, can we switch the platforms?
You can do that. You can do that. Okay. So when you continue, as of now, you continue with the full stack because full stack is doing good in the market right now. Okay. But having this AWS in your profile skill set will definitely add value. Okay. And make yourself comfortable when you're dealing with the client specific to infrastructure. Okay.
Sure.
Clear, Niranjan?
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So let's get into the agenda for today's session. If you want to do hands-on, what is AWS? Quick recap. Nothing complex. AWS is collection of services, and we already have seen it, how to log into AWS, and the URL, I hope you know, it's aws.amazon.com. So let me log in one more time. Let's connect to AWS. As you can see, the URL is aws.amazon.com. I already have an account. My dear friends, I already have an account. As I already have an account, we have an option. Can you see in the right side top? We have sign into the console. As I already have an AWS account, I log into my AWS account by using my email address and password. I logged in. I have successfully logged into my AWS account. The landing page is called as AWS Management Console. The moment you log into AWS account, the first page is called as AWS Management Console, wherein which, as mentioned, you will get the list of services. Can you see in the left side, we have services where you can see list of all the services. If you want to connect to any specific service and you want to do hands-on in a specific service, the first thing what is expected is that you should also have an AWS account. Without AWS account, obviously you cannot practice. Okay, so let's spend first 10 minutes in learning how can we have it create a new AWS account. There are many people who struggle in creating the AWS account because there's some misconceptions. So let's spend some time learning how to create a new AWS account. That will be helpful for the participants to go ahead and create a new AWS account. Once the AWS account is ready, then you can go ahead and jump into the practicals of AWS. Okay, so let's proceed. Let me sign out. Yes, I have signed out. So let's proceed. How can we create an AWS account? So as usual, the URL is the same. As usual, the URL is the same. The URL is aws.amazon.com. Okay. If you want to create an AWS account, you have to have three details. You should have email address. If you want to create a new AWS account, you should have email address. Obviously, we all have email address. That's not a problem. We should have mobile number. That's okay. We all have a mobile number. That's not a problem. But if you are having two mobile numbers, if you're having two SIM cards, please use the mobile number which is linked to your bank account. If you're maintaining two mobile numbers, please use the mobile number which is linked to your bank account. That's recommended. You should also have debit card. Credit card could be difficult, but debit card is easy. Okay, so you should have a debit card. Okay, or it is credit card, whichever you feel. So debit card is enough. Okay, so we all have a debit card. Okay, so once you have all these details, you can go ahead and create a new AWS account. You should have an email address. We all have it. We all have mobile numbers. We all have a debit card. Okay, and one important point: RuPay will not work. RuPay card will not work. AWS supports Visa cards and MasterCards. And if your debit card is RuPay card, it will not work. Correct? And one more important point. Your debit card should be activated for international transactions. By default, when you receive a debit card from your bank, the international transactions will be disabled. You need to talk to your banker. You please talk to your customer care and make sure that you enable your debit card for international transactions. This is important. Without this, you cannot go ahead and sign up for a new AWS account. You get issues when you when you create an AWS account, the card will not be validated. So please make sure that you do not use RuPay card. RuPay card will not work. Please use MasterCard or Visa card. Make sure your debit card is enabled for international transactions. You talk to customer care. What it could be any bank, SBI bank or any bank, HDFC, any bank, they will enable international transactions on your debit card. So once you have these details, yes, once you have these details, I go ahead and connect to your AWS cloud and let's go to the portal AWS cloud. You can see here. If you already have an account, yes, you can sign in. Okay, click on sign in. But the point is you do not have an AWS account. Here we have an option. Can you see at the bottom, we have an option of creating a new AWS account. So here bottom, you can see create a new AWS account. Click on create a new AWS account. Yes. Can you see it's a step 1 of 5. So it's a 5-step process. As you can see in the screen, it's a 5-step process. It's a 5-step process. Step 1, you need to furnish your email address. You need to provide your login password. You need to enter, choose your AWS account name, which should be unique. This is step 1. So we need to furnish your email address and login password in step 1. So this details we have provided in step 1. We have provided our email address. We have provided login password. You need to just enter the unique account number, an account ID. Okay, so that is step 1. Once you provide these details, when you click on next step, it will ask you to furnish your mobile number. Step 1, it will ask for email address. Step 2, it will ask for your mobile number. I already have created a document with the screenshots, which helps you to create a new AWS account. So let me open that document. So this document helps you to create a new AWS account. I have clearly taken the screenshots of the step-by-step process. As you can see in step 1, I am entering my email address. You have to provide your email address. You have to provide your login password. Provide your email address, provide your login password, and then click on continue. The next step, it will ask for entering your mobile number. Let's scroll down. I have documented it. Yes, this is step 2. Quick information. AWS provides 2 types of accounts, as you can see in the screen. As you can see in the screen, AWS provides 2 types of accounts. You can see here, one is professional account, the other one is personal account. We are creating AWS account for our personal use. Agree? We are creating AWS account for our personal load. It's not for commercial use. Agree or not? So go for personal option. Account type should be personal. Account type should be personal. Provide your mobile number. Select the right country. I have seen some participants entering India mobile number, country, they'll mention it as US. So please make sure that every information is very, very clear. Provide your mobile number, provide the right country, provide your address. Okay. So step 3, here we need to provide the debit card. Step 1, try to understand clearly. Step 1, we have provided your email address, mobile number we have provided in step 2, and then the debit card information you need to provide it in step 3. Right now we are in step 3. You need to provide the debit card information. As you can see the screenshot, provide the debit card information. I have provided my debit card information. I have provided my name and I have provided my billing address. It will ask you, do you have a PAN? So we don't need to furnish the PAN. Just click on no, verify and add. When you click on verify and add, it will check whether the debit card what you have provided is correct or not by deducting 2 rupees from your account. AWS will deduct 2 rupees from your debit card to check whether the card details what you have provided is correct or not. You get an OTP to your mobile number. Okay, you get an OTP to your mobile number. Provide the OTP and validate your debit card. It could be debit card or credit card. Next, you need to provide your mobile number one more time. Already in step 2, we have provided mobile number. You need to provide mobile number one more time after validating the debit cards. Okay. So provide the right, select the right country, select the right, provide your right mobile number, and then you get an SMS OTP. This is second OTP for verifying whether the mobile number is correct or not. First OTP to check whether the debit card is correct or not. The second OTP to verify whether the mobile number what you have provided is correct or not. You will get an OTP, provide the OTP, and then the next step, it will ask you to select a plan. It will ask you to select a plan. AWS provides 3 types of plans: basic plan, developer plan, business plan. AWS provides 3 types of plan: basic plan, developer plan, and business plan. Whatever we are doing, we are learning AWS. For us, the basic plan is more than enough. The basic plan is free for a period of 12 months. Please select the basic plan. Basic plan provides you AWS services with some limitations. That's more than enough. What are the limitations of each and every service? We can easily know it. That's point. But the point is, go for free plan. That's more than enough. We can do hands-on of all the services by using the free plan, and that is called as a basic plan. Basic plan is also called as a free plan, and that basic plan is free for a period of 12 months of duration. So if you create an AWS account now, you can practice for the next 12 months. So please choose the plan as basic plan. Select your role and select your interested technology. This is just for the information. And you get a thank you message saying that your AWS account has been successfully created. You get an email from AWS saying that your AWS account has been successfully created. Once you create an AWS account, now you can log in with your email address and login password. Then the moment you log in, the first landing page, as you know, it's my AWS management console. As simple as that. Am I right? Am I right? Is it difficult to create a new AWS account? That's it. No, it's not at all difficult. You have to have your proper mobile number and debit card, and then which is enabled for international transactions. That's it. Provide the right details. Within 2 minutes, you can go ahead and create a new AWS account. Once you are done with creating a new AWS account, you can log into AWS. So I already have logged into AWS. I'll show you. Look at this. I'll be sharing this document in the WhatsApp group. So that document will be handy for you in case if you want to refer the document when you're creating a new AWS account. I already have an AWS account. So let me sign into my AWS account. Yes. I'm logged in. The first page is called as AWS Management Console. You know it. Okay, as I already have an AWS account, I've logged into my AWS account. So please create an AWS account today so that you can. And one more quick information: when you create an AWS account today, account gets created. It will take approximately 18 hours or sometimes approximately 24 hours time to get activated. Account creation is one step and account activation is one more step. If you create an AWS account now, it gets activated after probably 18 hours or 12 hours. Depends. Minimum is 12 to 18 hours. So, and then you get one more mail saying that your AWS account is active. You get two mails. First, your AWS account is successfully created. After 12 hours or 18 hours, you get one more email saying that your AWS account is active. Once it is active, then you can select the services and start working with services. Okay. So you please bear for a few more hours so that your account gets activated. Then you can log into AWS and then you can start working with services. We are done with our agenda for the first point. So we are done with how to create a new AWS account. Okay, so we are done with learning how to create a new AWS account. So let's have a quick interaction with some of the participants. Any question, please raise your hand. Sai Shah. Good morning, Sai. Your question, please.
Good morning, Sunil.
Yep.
I actually liked your yesterday's session very much. And this is my first time with AWS. I don't have a prior knowledge about it. I've just heard basics of, cloud computing, and it is a booming technology. I wanted to ask here regarding the WhatsApp group which you mentioned. Even when I'm trying to join through the link given in the chat, it is saying full. And then for I guess someone asked it prior to me. I did not get again in the chat box another link to join it. So I want to
No problem, Sai. Before ending this today's session, I'll send you one more WhatsApp group. Please join the new group.
Okay, thank you. So
Any
just so
technical
that
question?
I'll no, as far as no, it is clear. Pretty much understood what all points you have told.
Okay. Thank you, Sai.
Thank you.
I'll provide you one more link before end of the session.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Perfect. Let's move on and experience the first service of AWS. So we are now learning the first service called EC2. Okay. Okay. So let's try to understand what is EC2. Stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Look at the definition what AWS says. Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, that is EC2, provides a scalable computing capacity on AWS. Using EC2 eliminates the need for invest in hardware upfront. You can develop and deploy applications faster. So this is what AWS EC2 says. Okay, it provides a computing capacity on AWS cloud. It provides a computing capacity so that you can deploy, you eliminates the need for investing on hardware, and then you can develop and deploy the applications faster. So what does that mean? Let's make this concept simplified. Let's make this concept simplified. Okay, let's try to understand meaning of the term EC2 in simple version. I want to learn Linux commands. Assume that I want to learn Linux commands. My dear friends, I want to learn Linux command. As you can see, my laptop is installed with Windows operating system. As you all know, you can see, you can experience my laptop is installed with Windows operating system. Obviously, we cannot learn Linux commands on Windows operating system. So, but my plan is to learn Linux commands. So what I can do, as my plan is to learn Linux, option one, what I can do, I can format my laptop. Agree? And then I will install Linux on my laptop so that I can learn Linux. Because finally what we need is a Linux operating system. If you want to learn Linux, I format my laptop and I can install Linux. I can learn Linux. After installing Linux on my laptop, I can happily learn Linux. Okay, this is option one. Option two. Option two is much more better. Instead of formatting Linux, instead of formatting my laptop, what I can do, I can install Linux on VMware. I hope most of you are already having knowledge on VMware. VMware is a virtualization platform where we can create a virtual machines. So what I can do, instead of formatting my laptop, I can install Linux on VMware platform, and whenever I want to practice Linux, I play the virtual machine, and whenever I want to perform my day-to-day regular activities, I can come back to my Windows machine. This is more comfortable way. So let's experience option two. How can we connect to Linux on VMware, and how can I practice Linux commands? You can see this is my laptop. Let's experience how exactly VMware works. So the first layer is hardware layer. In simple words, it's a laptop. My laptop is coming with 8 GB RAM and 500 GB hard drive. This is my hardware configuration of my laptop. What operating system is installed on my laptop? As you can see, as you have just now experienced, my laptop is installed with Windows 10 operating system. As you can see, my laptop is installed with Windows 10 operating system. Yes, this is right. Can you see this is Windows 10 operating system? On top of my Windows operating system, can you see I have installed an application called VMware? Can you see I have installed an application called VMware? Yes. So this is the application. Okay, this is my virtualization platform that is called as VMware. So on top of my Windows operating system, we have installed one more software called as VMware Workstation. The advantage of VMware is that on top of VMware, if you want any platform you can create. If you want to create a Linux machine, you can create a Linux machine on top of VMware. Let's say you want to create a Mac operating system, you can create a Mac operating system. If you want to create a Solaris operating system, whatever the environment you want, you can create it on VMware. So you can see here, I open my VMware. As you can see, this is a Red Hat Linux, which is installed on VMware. It's not installed on my laptop directly. It is installed on VMware. As I want to practice Linux, I can play this virtual machine. My Linux environment is ready on click of a button. So as my plan is to learn Linux commands, I open the terminal here, and then I can do hands-on on Linux. I'm able to achieve, and whenever I want to my day-to-day activities. As I have not formatted my laptop, my operating system is anyways available. I can work out with my operating system, and whenever I want, I can play my Linux, play my virtual machine, and get my Linux environment ready. Perfect. Clear about the concept of VMware? VMware is a virtualization technology. You can create a virtual machines. You can create your own machines as per the requirement. You can create a Linux machine. You can create a Solaris machine, any machine, whichever you want, you can create it. Any operating system platform you want, you can create it on VMware. I have practically shown you how exactly VMware helps to have multiple environments. Once you're done practicing Linux, yes, you have to pause the mission, or in other words, you have to suspend the mission. Your Linux machine is stopped and you're back to your Windows machine again. So this is option 2. Obviously, after looking to this option 2, obviously we all feel, isn't it, the VMware is best way, because we are editing operating system whenever I want, and then whenever I want the actual Windows, I can do my day-to-day activities. This is option 2. Okay, so installing Linux on VMware. One more quick information. Whenever you're running a virtual machine on VMware, we have just seen it. We have created a Linux machine. Red Hat Linux machine is running on VMware. Every Linux machine, we need to allocate 3 hardware components. Every Linux machine, we need to allocate 3 hardware components. Whenever you're creating a Linux machine, whenever you're creating a virtual machine, we need to allocate 3 hardware components. What are the 3 hardware components we need to allocate to the virtual machine? We need to allocate RAM, that's nothing but memory. We need to allocate a processor. We need to allocate a hard disk. You have to allocate three hardware components to the virtual machine, so that when you run the virtual machine, it consumes this particular hardware and provides you the environment. Am I clear? Whenever, if you can successfully, whenever you're creating a virtual machine, whenever you're creating a Linux machine on VMware, whenever you're creating a Solaris machine on VMware, you can also create a Windows machine on VMware. Whatever you want, you can do that, no doubt, but you need to allocate 3 hardware components. You may have a question, Sunil. Did you allocate the hardware components to the Linux machine which you have just shown? Yes, I have allocated. This is the Linux machine which I have just shown you. Am I right? When you click on this play button or resume button, the Linux machine will be active now, so that I can use it. I have allocated RAM to the Linux machine. I have allocated processor to the Linux machine. I have allocated a hard disk to this Linux machine. You can see the hardware components here. I have allocated 3.9 GB of memory. Memory is nothing but RAM. My laptop is having 8 GB memory. My hardware is total 8 GB memory. Out of 8 GB, 50%, 4 GB I have allocated to my Linux machine. To run any application, we need memory, right? So this Linux machine will consume that 4 GB of my RAM. Agree? How many processors I have allocated? You can see I have allocated 2 processors. How much hard disk space I have allocated to the Linux machine? Total hard disk of my laptop is 500 GB. And how much hard disk I have allocated? You can see 60 GB of hard disk I have allocated. Can you see here? I hope you can see it. 60 GB we have allocated. So you can clearly see the hardware allocations which I have done it. From my laptop, I have allocated 50% of the RAM, 4 GB memory I have allocated 2 processors, and I have allocated 60 GB of hard disk. So if I create some files, that files will consume that 60 GB of hard disk which I have allocated. Clear about this? These are the 3 important hardware components which are required to run a Linux machine, to run any virtual machine. So this is about VMware virtualization platform. Okay. So if I want to practice Linux, obviously option 2 we feel better than option 1. Rather than formatting, I can go with VMware, and whenever I want, I can switch my operating systems. Option 3, I can create the same Linux machine on AWS cloud. The same Linux machine which we have just experienced in the VMware, the same Linux machine, I can create it on AWS cloud. The same Linux machine which you have just shown you on VMware, I can create it on AWS cloud. That's option 3. Option 3. So if you want to create your own infrastructure, if you want to create your own machines, on AWS, that is possible by using a service called as EC2. So in simple words, EC2 is a service which helps you to create your own virtual machines. If you want to create a Windows machine on AWS, you can do that. If you want to create a Linux machine on AWS, you can do that. If you want to create a Mac operating system on AWS, you can do that. Whatever the operating system, whatever the infrastructure you want, You can create it on AWS cloud by using a service called as EC2. EC2 helps you to create virtual machines. EC2 helps you to create your own virtual machines on AWS cloud, my dear friends, isn't it? So let's experience. We have experienced the VMware Linux or whatever the operating system on VMware just now. Let's experience how to create our own machines as per the requirement on AWS cloud. If you want to create your own machines on AWS cloud, interesting, we can do that. We'll be showing it now. We'll be seeing it now. For that purpose, you have to use a service called as EC2. So let's learn how can we create an EC2 machine. Let's learn how can you create a Windows machine on AWS. To start with, my dear friends, to start with the first example of EC2, I'm showing you how to create a Windows machine. Let's experience how to create a Windows operating system on AWS cloud platform. Okay. So let's learn how to create a Windows machine. Hands-on is very important. Please practice this, whatever we are learning. Not only creating an AWS Windows machine, we should also able to connect to that Windows machine. So we'll be seeing how can we connect to that Windows machine, which we have created on AWS. So that's plan. So let's get into the practicals of creating a Windows machine on AWS. So look at the theory here. Quick repeat of the sentence what we just read. EC2 service provides a computing capacity on AWS cloud. You can eliminate the investment on the hardware and you can develop and deploy applications once you have the infrastructure available on AWS. Okay, so when you're working with EC2, look at these terminologies. I can say we are creating a new computer in AWS. I can say I'm creating a new machine. I can say I'm creating a new box. I can say I am creating a new PC. I can also say I'm creating a new server. All these are the synonyms. I can use any word, whatever I want. I can say that I'm showing you how to create a Windows machine. I can also say how can we create a Windows PC. I can also say how we are creating a Windows computer, or in other words, the best terminology to use is instance. Every machine is called as an instance in AWS. So we will be learning how to create a Windows instance. Let's learn how can we create a new Windows instance on AWS cloud. So let's change the image. Now, what is our plan? So we have an AWS cloud platform. We already have signed up to AWS cloud platform. So this is your AWS cloud. So what's our agenda? Our agenda is to create a Windows machine. Okay, isn't it? So our agenda is to create a Windows machine on AWS cloud. So that's our plan. If you want to do this, you know that we have to select a service called as EC2. I have logged into AWS, go to services. I'm selecting the first service called EC2. I have selected a service called as EC2. Yes, this is how the EC2 dashboard looks like. This is how the EC2 dashboard. Go to instances to see list of all the instances which are there on AWS. This is how the EC2 dashboard looks like. I can see, as you can see, I already have 1, 2, 3, 4 instances. I already have created 4 machines for our previous batches. So please do not worry about the existing instances. We are now creating a new Windows instance. We are creating a new Windows machine on AWS cloud. So please ignore these instances. Dev server, QA, dev Docker host. These are instances which I'm using for the previous batches. Please ignore the existing 4 instances. Let's learn how can we go ahead and create a new instance. Clear? Clear about this? Let's proceed. Let's proceed. How can we create a new Windows instance? Okay, perfect. If you want to create a new instance, whether it is a Windows machine or a Linux machine, whichever one you can create it. Okay, so log into AWS, select the service called as EC2, go to instances, and we have a button called launch instances. We have a button called launch instances, which helps you to launch the instances, which helps you to create the instances as per the requirement. So I want to create the instance. I click on launch instance. Okay. As you can see in the screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 7-step process. It's a step-by-step wizard. Creating an instance is a 7-step process. You can see here. Okay, so let's make it simplified. So let's document it. So what are we doing in step 1? What are we doing in step 2, step 3, step 4? Let's take a note. Step 6, step 7. So let's take note of what are the options we are working on with all the steps. So it's a 7-step process. Right now we are in step 1. Please read the step 1, choosing an Amazon mission image. In step 1, you need to select Amazon mission image. You may have a question, Sunil, what do you mean by Amazon mission image? In simple words, Amazon mission is nothing but an operating system. Choosing an AMI, choosing an Amazon mission image is nothing but selecting an operating system. When you're creating a machine, obviously you know what machine you're planning to create. So our plan is to create a Windows machine, isn't it? So you have list of all the operating systems here. On demand, whichever the operating system you can select it. You can create an Amazon Linux, you can create Red Hat Linux. You get all list of operating system. You can see SUSE Linux, Ubuntu, Microsoft Windows. Yes, so this is what I want. I want to create a Windows machine. So I'm selecting this operating system. Okay, Windows Server 2019, 64-bit operating system. Fine. And when you're selecting operating systems, when you're practicing AWS, make sure that you select options which are eligible for free tier. There are some operating systems which are not eligible for free tier. I'll show you. Look at this. Scroll down. You can see this operating system is eligible for free tier, whereas this one is not eligible for free tier. Okay, so based on the features, based on the software which are already installed, there are some operating systems are not eligible for free tier. So I hope you remember the AWS account what we have created is a free tier account. That's more than enough. So please make sure that you select an option which is eligible for free tier. So I want to go with the Windows operating system. So I'm selecting the first option, Windows Server, because it's eligible for free tier. So select the operating system. So step 1 is nothing but AMI. In other words, it's a operating system. We know the importance of step 1. Let's go to step 2. I'm selecting step 1, that is selecting Windows Server operating system. Select. Now you are in step 2. Please read this. Choose an instance type. Step 2 is instance type. Before explaining about what is instance type, look at the options. We have a lot of instance types here. You can see here a type here in the table. There are a lot of instance types here. Let's read out. Let's T2 nano, T2 micro, T2 small, T2 medium, T2 large. There are a lot of instance types. And very important observation, I hope you already observed that there's only one instance type which is eligible for free tier. There are many instance types, but there is only one instance type eligible for free tier. So we have no options, in fact. Okay, so let's go for free tier eligible T2 micro. So you may have a question, Sunil, what do you mean by instance type? Yes, let's try to understand what do you mean by instance type. We are creating a Windows machine, no doubt, on AWS. Fine. Look at my questions. What is the hardware configuration of the Windows machine which we are creating on AWS? You're creating a Windows machine on AWS, no doubt. My question is, what is the RAM of that particular Windows machine? How many processors that Windows machine is having? What is the hard disk of that particular Windows machine? So as I said, if you want to run a particular virtual machine, whether it is on VMware or it is AWS cloud, the concept remains the same. You need to allocate hardware components. You need to allocate RAM to that particular machine. You need to allocate processor to that particular machine. You need to allocate storage for that particular machine. That is, you need to allocate hard disk. Then only the virtual machines can be created, whether it is on VMware or whether it is on cloud. So my question is, if you're creating a Windows machine, tell me these details. What is the RAM of that particular machine, processor and hard disk? Yes, so that instance type will define the RAM. You can see the T2 micro instances says that it comes with 1 GB RAM. So this Windows machine comes with 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. So this instance type is all about selecting the hardware configuration. So AWS provides you 1 GB RAM and 1 processor. So now I got the hardware configuration. So RAM is 1 gigabyte and RAM is nothing but memory and processor is 1 processor. Okay. So we have the information about the first 2 hardware components, RAM and processor. So we should also have the information about the storage. How much should be the storage that is hard disk? That comes in step 4. Can you see storage? Storage information is nothing but allocating the hardware, hard disk that we anyways discussed in the step 4. So instance type is all about defining the hardware configurations. Let's say if a client or business needs more, obviously 1 GB RAM, you cannot do anything. You want 16 GB RAM machine, you want 32 GB RAM. You need to select that corresponding types. You can see here, this is 16 GB RAM. With 4 processors, that is called as T2 extra large. So if you want this particular configuration, you can select this. So you have a lot of hardware configurations as per the options you can select it. So I'm selecting a T2 micro because that's the only instance which is eligible for instance type, which is eligible for free test. So I got to know the hardware configuration. My Windows machine, which you're planning to create, is coming with 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. So that's about instance type. So second step is all about instance type. That is nothing but the hardware configuration, right? Okay, step 3. Number of instances. In a single shot, you can go ahead and create 10 Windows machines. Step 3 is all about how many number of instances you are planning to create. I want to create only one instance. So don't disturb anything. If you want, you can go ahead and create 10 instances at a single shot. Okay, so I don't want to do that. I want to create only one instance. Step 3 is all about number of instances. Okay, so number of instances, we are taking the default. We are not changing anything in step 3. So we are taking the default. That's nothing but one instance. Next. Step 4 is storage. AWS allocates you 30 GB of storage to your virtual machine. You can see 30 GB of storage. Now you got the hardware component also. So this Windows machine comes with how much hard disk? 30 GB of hard disk. So this is nothing but storage. That is nothing but the hard disk. Okay. That is step 4. So step 4, take the default. We are not disturbing anything. We are going with default options. Step 5. Let's move on. Step 5 is providing the tags. Tags is nothing but naming the instance. You can name it later. So please ignore step 5. So take the default one. Click on next. That's it. Do not change. So tagging, we can do it later. So step 5 is all about tags. We have not provided any tags. We can provide it later. So I'm just clicking on next. Next. Configure security group. This is important, my dear friends. Step 6 is something like security group. You may have a question. What is this concept of security group? Let's try to understand what you mean by security group. Let's try to understand what is the importance of security group. Step 6 is asking for security group. So let's try to understand what do you mean by security group. So security group, look at AWS. Security group is set of firewall routes that allows you to control the traffic to your instance. What does that mean? Let's try to understand the concept of security group. Assume that you have successfully created a Windows machine on AWS. Assume that you have successfully created a Windows machine on AWS. Assume once the Windows machine is successfully created, what's the next step? From my personal laptop, I should be able to connect and work with this instance. Agree? You have successfully created a Windows machine on AWS cloud. Fine. That's fine. Very good. But the point is, once the Windows machine is successfully created on AWS cloud platform, you should, from your personal laptop, you should be able to connect to that Windows machine and do some hands-on. When can you successfully connect to the Windows machine? My dear friends, when can you successfully connect to Windows machine? You can successfully connect to the Windows machine only when you can successfully, yes, you are right, where you can successfully connect to Windows machine only when the port is open. You have to open the port. Port is something like a gate, point of communication. From your personal laptop, my dear friends, from your personal laptop, you can successfully connect to the Windows machine only when the port is open. Port is nothing but point of communication. Gate should be open. Then only you can connect. If you're not opening the ports, you cannot connect. Machine will be successfully created, but you cannot connect. So port is nothing but gate, point of communication. Let's say, for example, let's have one more simple example. You buy a pen drive. You want to store some data in your pen drive. You want to store some images. You want to store some documents in your pen drive. So what do? You connect the pen drive to USB port of your laptop. USB port. Port is nothing but point of contact where the communication happens. Port should be open. You want to connect your laptop to your television. You want to connect your laptop to your TV. We connect it using HDMI port. Ports are nothing but points of contact. Communication happens using port. So port needs to be open. So when you are connecting, so for Windows machine, so you need to open RDP port. For Windows machine, you need to open remote desktop port, RDP port. We need to open. So, so security group is all about port. It's all about opening the ports. You don't need to anything. AWS is very intelligent. AWS has understood that you are creating a Windows machine. It's automatically opening RDP port. You don't need that. I have not opened it. It is automatically opening the RDP ports. The right ports are already provided for you. So it is very intelligent. It is already opening the RDP port. Okay, so take the default. So configuration security group is all about making the ports to be open, and it automatically opened what port? It automatically opened the RDP port. So we have not done anything on this. We are taking the default options. That is step 6. Next. Step 7 is reviewing the details. Okay, just review the details before launching. It provides you complete information. Please have a look at this. So what we are creating is a Windows machine. This Windows machine comes with 1 GB memory and 1 CPU ports. And this particular Windows machine, the port is also open. Coming to storage of that particular Windows machine, it comes with a 30 GB of storage. If you're fine with all these configurations, click on launch. When you're fine with this, all these options, just click on launch. When you click on launch, very important observation. When you click on launch, it will ask you to download. It will ask you to create a new key pair. My dear friends, when you click on launch, very important observation, it will ask you to create a new key pair. What is key pair? I'll explain later. Please experience that. When you click on launch, it will ask you to create a new key pair. A key pair is nothing but a file with extension .pem. A key pair is nothing but a file with extension .pem. You have to download the key pair. AWS provides you a PEM file. AWS provides you a key pair. So when you click on launch, it will ask you to create a new key pair. Okay, so let's experience it. Before clicking on launch, in my desktop, I'm creating a new folder with the name Sunil. Before clicking on launch, as you can see, I have created a new folder with the name Sunil. Okay. Right now the folder is empty. I will be downloading that file in this particular desktop Sunil folder. So let's experience it. Click on launch. Select an existing key pair or create a new key pair. As expected. Create new key pair. Key pair name can be anything. Key pair name can be anything. File name can be anything. Okay. Let's say this is I'm just writing something like any XYZ is the name of the key pair. Any name it can be. So I'm downloading the key pair. It's very important that you have to download the key pair. And when you're downloading the key pair, it will ask you where do you want to save your key pair? Do you want to download in downloads folder or my documents or C drive? So I want to download it in my desktop. In my desktop, I have created a new folder with the name Sunil. You are right. So in this particular Sunil folder, I'm downloading the key pair. Yes, it has been downloaded. Okay. So remember, once you complete the 7-step process, it will ask you to create a new key pair. You can see the file extension .pem. You have experienced the key pair. So what is key pair? We'll discuss later, and click on launch instances. After downloading the key pair, proceed with launching the instances. Click on view instances. You have successfully created, hooray, we have successfully created a Windows machine on AWS cloud. So this is our existing 4 missions. Can you see this is the new mission which is still in the process of creation? It is pending. It will take just 1 minute of time for the mission to be created. You can name the mission. Let's say I'm naming it as any name you can write it. I'm naming it as mission 1. We have, my dear friends, we have successfully created a Windows machine on AWS cloud. And now you can see the Windows machine is in now running state. Your machine is up and running. Done. We are done. We are done. We have learned how to create a Windows machine. We have learned how to create a Windows machine, and we have successfully created a Windows machine on AWS cloud. Clear about this? If the process of creating the Windows machine is clear, please type yes in the chat box. My dear friends, am I clear in explaining you how to create the first machine? In fact, we have learned how to create a Windows machine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have learned how to create a Windows machine. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, next is something important. Let's focus. What is the configuration of this Windows machine? What is the configuration of Windows machine? Yes, you are right. We already know the configurations. We have taken a note of it. This configuration is 1 GB RAM, 1 CPU, and 30 GB of hard disk. Fine. The point is, the beauty is, where is this Windows machine running? Where is this Windows machine created? You may have a question. It is running on AWS cloud. That's fine. As I told you in yesterday's session, AWS is maintaining data centers, isn't it, in 25 regions? And my point is, in which data center I have created my Windows machine. As you can see in the left side top, my Windows machine is created in which data center? Mumbai data center. You can see here we have created in Mumbai data center. Got it? You can clearly see it is created in the Mumbai data center. So my Windows machine is running on Mumbai. Clear? Okay. What is the hardware configuration of this Windows machine? 1 GB RAM. Did I allocate 1 GB RAM from my personal laptop? No. Did I allocate processor from my personal laptop? No. Am I providing my hard disk of my laptop 30 GB to my Windows machine? No, I'm not allocating my hardware resources. AWS is already having their hardware resources in the data center. We are consuming their hardware resources of AWS data center of Mumbai location. AWS is having millions of gigabytes of memory and millions of terabytes of storage and millions of process. We are using their hardware configuration and created the virtual machine as per our requirement. Successfully, we have created a Windows machine. I hope you're understanding the concept. What's the next point? Not just creating a Windows machine successfully, you should know how to connect. From my personal laptop, I am eager to connect to Windows machine. I want to experience how exactly the Windows machine is running somewhere in Mumbai. I'm from Hyderabad. From Hyderabad, it can be any location. From my current location, that is Hyderabad, I want to connect to that Windows machine which is running in Mumbai data center, and I want to experience that Windows machine. Let's learn how can we connect. If you want to connect to remote instances, remote instances are nothing but instances which is in a different location. If you want to connect remote Windows instances, you need an application called remote desktop. You need an application called remote desktop. What is remote desktop? Remote desktop connection is an application. By default, you'll get it. You don't need to install it exclusively. By default, when you install operating system, you'll automatically. I'll show you. Look at this. Remote desktop connection by default. If you want, you can confirm it right away in your personal laptop. Remote desktop connection will be already available. So using this remote desktop connection, using this particular terminal, we'll be connecting to the remote machine. Got it? Using this remote desktop. So what is the application you're using? We are using an application from your personal laptop called remote desktop connection. This is the application which you are using, and using this application, we can connect. Fine. So the application is ready. Fine. How can we connect? What are the details which are required to connect? If you want to connect to a Windows machine, my dear friends, look at this. The remote desktop is a terminal, fine. But what are the details which are required? If you want to connect to the Windows machine, okay, if you want to connect to Windows machine, you need to have DNS, you need to have username, you need to have password. What is DNS? Don't worry, domain name service. We'll explain that later. That's not a problem. These are the three details which are required to connect to that Windows machine, which is running somewhere in Mumbai. How can I get these details? Yes, I'll show you. Look at this. Select the machine whichever you want to connect. Can you see we have a button called connect button? Can you see we have a button called connect button? Click on connect. This is the DNS. DNS is nothing but the public DNS. Next, you need a username. Username is readily available here. Administrator is a username. And you need a password to connect. Password, it's not providing you the password. It's not providing you the password. You need to generate the password. Password, you'll not get it directly. You need to generate the password for security reasons. How can you generate the password? You can generate the password by using the key pair. Do you remember after launching the instances, you have downloaded a key pair? I hope remember in the desktop Sunil folder, you have downloaded a key pair xyz.pem file. This is nothing but a key pair. This is for security reasons. People who are having the key pair, they can generate the password. Otherwise, there's no security, isn't it? So using this PEM file, using this key pair, you can generate the password. Now I'll show you how to generate the password. Click on get password. It is asking you to upload the xyz.pem. You can see here, it is asking you to upload the key pair. So choose the file, desktop, Sunil folder, xyz.pem file is a file which we have, which we are now uploading, and then we can have an option called decrypt the password. When you decrypt the password, now you get the password. Now you have the password. Got it? Are you understanding? You need to have DNS, you need to have username, you need to have the password. I hope I have shown you clearly how to get those details. Okay, so key pair is used for generating the password. If you don't have the key pair, you cannot generate the password. So security reasons, these are the details which are enough. So once you have all these details with you, so where we should enter these details? Where should we enter these details? You have to enter the details in the application called as remote desktop connection. So under computer, provide the DNS name. Okay, click on connect. It is asking for the username. It is asking for the password. Password, we already have taken a note of it. Click on OK. Are you sure you want to connect? Yes. Please experience, we are connecting to a Windows machine, which is somewhere running in Mumbai data center. Is this clear? Please experience. It will take some time because we are doing it for the first time. It will take some time. Let's experience. You have successfully connected to a Windows machine, which is somewhere running in Mumbai data center, and you are able to connect. Clear about this? What is the hardware configuration of this machine? You already know it. If you want to confirm, you can confirm it. Go to this PC. Let's look at the hardware configuration of this remote machine. This PC, go to properties. You can clearly see this particular Windows machine comes with how much memory? 1 GB RAM. Clear? And how many processors? One processor, Intel Xeon processor. Okay, we are using the processor of AWS data center. And what is the storage? Storage is nothing but the hard disk. That's nothing but C drive. Can you see in this PC you have C drive? So what is the storage? Go to properties. 29.9, 30 GB of storage. So is this clear? Is this clear? We have successfully connected. Let's do it one more time. How to connect to the remote desktop? You need an application called remote desktop connection. You need to have the details. You need to provide the DNS name. DNS name is something similar to IP address. Don't worry about this. If you're not clear about the DNS name, provide the credentials. Username is administrator is already picked up from the history, and then you need to provide the password. We have provided a password. Click on OK. That's it. Within no time you will be successfully connected to the remote desktop. Clear about this? And then once you're done, you can close this connection. You'll be back to your actual laptop. So EC2 service, let's go back to theory. Okay, clear it. So EC2 service helps you to provide scalable computing capacity. It has some power. It has some computing capacity because we have allocated processor on AWS cloud. You don't need to buy the hardware. You don't need, let's say you want a Windows machine with 64 GB of RAM. You don't need to buy 64 GB of RAM by going to a computer peripheral shop. Whatever the infrastructure you want, you can go ahead and create the infrastructure in no time. That's the beauty of EC2, so that you can use that particular instances for your developing the applications or deploying the applications, whichever you want, you can do that. Clear about the beauty of AWS. Are you excited with the first example? Please type yes in the chat box. Is this clear about did we meet our agenda? Did we meet our agenda for today's session? Now you know how to create an AWS account. My dear friends, you can do hands-on. You can also create your AWS account. You can create Windows machines. You can create Linux machines. That's all. You can create it. That's not a problem. You know how to create a new AWS account. You know what is the importance of EC2. Today we have seen how to create a Windows machine. Tomorrow we'll see how to create a Linux machine. So we'll be day to day adding much more components. You know the importance of key pair, and you know how to connect to that. Just not creating a machine. You know the importance of how can we connect to the remote machine. Thank you very much for your super responses. Okay, so before ending our session, so as we know, we'll have a quick interaction. Before ending the session, let's have a quick interaction, and then I should also provide the WhatsApp group to follow the updates for this particular batch. Please do not join duplicate groups. So I'm providing you one more link. If you are not part of batch number 79, there are a lot of WhatsApp groups. Batch number 79, you should have it in that group. 79-1, 2, 3, 4, any number. Sending the WhatsApp group in the chat box. Please do not join duplicate groups and then join the group to get the updates. So before ending, let's have a quick interaction. Any questions, please raise your hands. Indira Kumar, your question, please. Okay. Ravi Kumar.
I have a doubt. Could you please say that what is that PEM file?
PEM file is a special file which you get it when you create an EC2 machine. Ravi Kumar. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say I have created an EC2 machine. Okay. So I don't want anybody to connect. I should able to connect. Okay. So as I have the PEM file with me, so I can generate the password and connect. Ravi Kumar, even though you have these details. Okay. So what, even though you have my DNS name and you know my username as administrator, but still you cannot connect because you don't have the PEM file. So you cannot have the password. Okay. I have the PEM file. I can generate the password so that I can only connect. So it's a security.
So instead of using the file, I'm using the file.
I'm sorry. Others please mute. Others please mute.
Instead of using as a password, I'm using a file as a password.
Yes, you are right. You have to upload the file and decrypt the, and then you can generate the password out of it. Okay, Ravi?
Yeah, right.
Clear? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Indra Kumar.
Indra. Okay, Sunil, last day you will update the new WhatsApp group. That's also full, Sunil. I can't reach that WhatsApp group.
Ping me on WhatsApp to my number. You get the group. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Your number is?
It's there in the slide, right? Can you see my PPT?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. 83402.
Thank you, Indra. Anshul Sharma. Good morning. How are you doing? Your question, please. Anshul Sharma, you have to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Can you hear me? Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. Is it clear about the session, what we have learned today?
Yes, it's fantastic.
Thank you.
And amazing. Like, actually, I just need to know like the space which like we occupied or like 30 GB. Like this, like Amazon is like we took this space or the Amazon server basically. Like
Amazon,
space, like
we are consuming the space of AWS. Okay. Amazon data centers are having trillions of terabytes of hard drives. Okay, so we are consuming their hardware, we are consuming their memory, their RAM, we are consuming their process, and we are creating virtual machines as per our requirement. Anshul, okay, clear?
Okay.
Clear, Anshul? We are not allocating 30 GB of RAM from 30 GB of hard disk from your personal laptop. No, it's not that, isn't it? We are consuming the hardware configuration of AWS data centers. Agree?
Yes, AWS data center from the AWS data center.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything more, Anshul?
No, nothing. Thank you.
Sandeep Merugu.
Hi, Sunil.
Hi, Sandeep. You're from which location? Your question, please.
Yeah, I'm from Hyderabad.
Okay.
I just want to confirm like how AWS is providing the availability, like how it can assure that it will not go down.
In case of regional failures, also it never goes down by uninterrupted services. You have to wait. We'll be discussing about the concept of Route 53. Okay. There's no concept of downtime. That's what the cloud advantages are. Okay. Clear, Sandeep?
Yeah. And one more thing, like can they assure like the no data is lost, like clients will be having some critical data, right?
There is no issues with respect to security. Okay. So we are just beginning learning AWS, how exactly we can increase the security for the clients. Okay, how exactly we can maintain a disaster recovery site in AWS because to overcome the natural calamities. All this we can do it. Okay, so we'll be seeing it soon, Sandeep.
Yeah.
Clear,
Thanks,
Sandeep? How is today's session?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you. Let's have one more interaction before ending the session. Sharmendra Singh. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, hi Sunil. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry, Sharmendra. Yeah, please unmute again. I'm sorry.
I'm audible?
Yeah, you're audible now.
So thanks for sharing the session, Sunil.
Thank you.
My question is basically, what happened if I lost the decrypted password?
Okay. You can anyways, once you have the key pair with you, Sharmendra, you can upload the key pair and generate the password whenever you want. Okay.
And again,
in case if you lost the key pair, there is an option where we can regenerate the key pair. That's not a big problem. Okay. There's a 7-step process. You need to follow a 7-step process so that the key pair gets generated. Okay. Okay. If possible, we can see that. So that's not a problem. Okay.
Actually, once we have completed the 7-step process, then after that we get the option
new key pair
to download the key pair.
Obviously, yes.
So
once you have the key pair, you can generate the password, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Anything more, Sharmendra?
No, thanks.
Okay. Kalyan Rao. Good morning.
Hi, Sunil. Sorry for this. I tried to log into all the groups, but all are full.
Okay.
That is only
1 minute. I think many are not able to join. You're not part of WhatsApp groups, Kalyan?
Yeah, I'm not part of a WhatsApp group.
Okay, give me a minute.
Sure.
Pick up the WhatsApp group now in the chat box. Okay, Kalyan.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay, and then join this. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you all. I hope you have enjoyed the session. What's the plan for tomorrow's session? Our plan for tomorrow's session is to experience Linux machine. Today we have experienced Windows machine. Tomorrow we'll be experiencing Linux machine, not just Linux machine. I'll be introducing a new concept called web server. What is a web server? And we'll be converting the Linux machine to web server. That's our agenda for tomorrow's session. Please stay tuned for tomorrow's class. Thank you. Bye, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed the training. See you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. With the same meeting link. The meeting link will not change for the next 25 days. You don't need to doubt on it. The live training is absolutely free. Thank you.